The water came just about 20 to 30 yards up the shoreline, dropping debris here and eating away at the dunes. The sidewalk here at the Wicomico Youth and Civic Center just completely packed to the brim with campaign signs. For months leading up to this sentencing, McGinnis maintained her innocence. However, this morning, before the judge handed down his sentence, she tearfully read a statement to the court expressing remorse and guilt, saying that if she had known what she was doing was illegal, she never would have done it. Chincoteague, one way on and one way off. Normally, it just adds to the island's unique charm, but Tuesday, it's a cause for major concern as serious flooding could be rolling in with the high tide. We're celebrating the natural resources found right here in Delaware, but in a bigger sense, it's also a call to action for Delawareans to keep the first state clean and beautiful. Mayor Andrew Bradshaw is charged with posting revenge porn to social media dozens of times between April and May of this year. Those disturbing posts are outlined here in these charging documents, nearly 30 pages long.
We're happy with the result.
Prosecutors hope a new precedent has been set with Wednesday's sentencing of Delaware State Auditor Kathleen McGinnis. McGinnis will serve 2 years of probation concurrently, must pay a $10,000 fine, and complete 500 hours of community service. A judge confirming that no one is above the law and even elected public officials will be held accountable. McGinnis already planning to appeal.
The state Supreme Court has yet to tell us whether and how it's illegal to hire a close relative, and that's one of the issues we'll be exploring on appeal.
For months leading up to Judge William Carpenter's sentencing decision, McGinnis maintained her innocence. Wednesday morning, before the judge entered the courtroom, McGinnis appeared relaxed and smiled as she chatted with family members. But later on, when she was on the stand, McGinnis tearfully made a statement to the court expressing both remorse and guilt, saying if she had known what she did was illegal, she never would have done it in the first place.
There is no one in this state has ever been prosecuted for hiring a relative before. So it's understandable that Ms. McGinnis didn't understand that the law said that's prohibited conduct.
However, prosecutors are not convinced, explaining that McGinnis's continued assertions of innocence after her guilty verdict is why they made sentencing recommendations around what they call a lack of remorse.
She made many statements to the media and to the public about the nature of her prosecution that we flatly disagree with, which I think gave us good cause to say that there was lack of remorse.
We don't have the wind, we don't have the rain. Our major concern was the flooding, which was forecast to be historical.
Sunday night, the town of Chincoteague issuing a voluntary evacuation notice as high tide is expected to cause severe flooding.
You never know about these tides. They're driven by many different things, wind, surf conditions, whatnot. So it's better to be prepared than not.
By Monday afternoon, water was already edging onto Route 175, the only way on or off the island. The low tide also filling up boat ramps and even carrying jellyfish into parking lot puddles. An emergency shelter opened at Arcadia High School in Melfa, but Monday evening, the voluntary evacuation was canceled, so the shelter was shut down. The Accomack County Emergency Operations Center still urging residents to play it safe as the storm rolls through.
I think that the biggest area of uncertainty is how bad the high tide is going to be, especially in the low-lying areas. Definitely, if you don't have to go out, don't go out. Watch for flooded roadways. If it's flooded, do not drive through it. Don't count that, you've done it before. This storm is a little bit different.
No prior knowledge that there was going to be any activity.
Monday morning, the city of Cambridge in shock. Mayor Andrew Bradshaw facing 50 counts of distributing revenge porn.
Given the rise of the internet, this practice becomes particularly egregious because you can post a picture and it can be seen by millions of people, and it is a tremendous invasion of privacy, and it can have a very, very significant impact on the victims.
Now Mayor Bradshaw is sitting behind bars without bond while prosecutors build their case.
In a crime such as this, obviously, targets of interest would be computer media, computer networks, any electronic media that may contain memory, those kind of things.
Back in August, Mayor Bradshaw's home and office were searched after a woman came forward claiming that during a previous relationship, she had sent the mayor intimate, explicit photos of herself, and he had later posted them to social media platform Reddit under multiple different accounts.
They're not only an abuse of someone's privacy, but they're an abuse of power by someone in possession of those documents, those images, those intimate messages.
Of course, Mayor Bradshaw is innocent until proven guilty, so until any judgment can be reached, City Manager David Deutsch tells 47 ABC they're continuing to focus on city business, adding it's too early to say if the mayor will be placed on leave and what replacement plans might look like.
It's a personal matter, does not involve city business. The staff here and at the other city facilities continues to do their job, and we'll continue to work with them and city council to keep moving forward.
If I said anything, people would think that I was weak, that it was time for me to give the job up, that I couldn't be trusted with anymore, that I wasn't good enough anymore.
First responders are a community's real-life superheroes. But Eastern Shore Psychological Services counselor Heather Brown says, just like everyone else, they don't have superpowers.
Well, you're seeing people at their worst. You know, you're seeing people who are in crisis and aren't able to help themselves or at the verge of dying.
Salisbury Deputy Fire Chief Chris Obarski tells me that for years, putting his life on the front line meant leaving mental health on the back burner.
It's the, suck it up buttercup attitude. This is what I've heard this numerous times, this is what you got in the service for. Well, it's really not. I didn't get into the service to end up having nightmares and flashbacks and end up at a center for 40 days or end up drinking. That was not what I signed up for. I signed up to help people.
Obarski says that stigma eventually led to silence, putting a strain not just on his own mental health, but his family's as well.
They don't want to share that trauma with us. They don't want to expose us to that, and so they just keep pushing it back or compartmentalizing it.
Sometimes coping mechanisms aren't enough. Obarski says you can reach your breaking point. He says at this point on his path to recovery, he is doing better, but now he wants others to know that you don't have to go it alone, and a glimmer of hope may even come in the form of a four-legged friend.
This is just another way that will be with me constantly. Unconditional love, no judgment. They just know when I'm in trouble, she's going to help me out.
Meet Serenity, or Ren for short, Obarski's service dog in training. Brown tells us animals like Ren or her therapy dog Benji can make all the difference.
He just brings smiles. He breaks the ice. He relaxes people. He allows them to feel more comfortable, because coming into a therapeutic situation can be very scary for somebody, especially if the culture's been, we don't talk about things.
But that help can come with a hefty price tag, sometimes as much as $30,000. Fortunately for Obarski, U.S. Kennels agreed to pay half. And for the rest, the community stepped up, pledging their support in a GoFundMe campaign that quickly surpassed the original goal.
Never in a million years, I think in 4 hours I was going to be able to raise, $15,000, let alone 18, let alone what we're at now.
We hope that momentum will be able to continue so that we can continue to help other people. Because we've almost raised enough to help another first responder with a dog.
Now that Ren is part of the family, the Obarskis are once again reaching out to their community, not just to help others in need find their own service animals, but to spread the word among first responders that
it's okay to not be okay. And there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you less, valuable. It's okay to be vulnerable.